thinking this the other day that I used to collect jars when I was a kid because we used to have rolling blackouts like very frequently, especially throughout like heavy thunderstorms and stuff. And we used to have like a heap of clips. We used to have a heap of like blackouts and brownouts and stuff like that where the power dims but almost goes out, but it like consistently keeps doing it for a while. That's what a brownout is in Australia. And then when I got older, the need to collect jars was no longer necessary. And at some point, I just didn't notice that I wasn't doing it. And I saw, because like Nick kept a specific looking pickle jar the other day, and it just kind of jogged my memory about it. And I wondered whether or not anybody else experiences that. Even in this day and age, it should be pretty uncommon to experience in most places, but like obviously some of you guys may not have like the most stable power. I know some of you guys definitely don't have the most stable internet. I thought mine was bad, but holy fuck, a few of you guys, like, you go to some great lengths to get the internet to be able to be here. Cyprus accepts some inspiration. Nice. These are all bored at the moment. Here's another little thing. This little symbol, this little O next to them, that's idle. I'm not sure why they chose like a circle, but they're done here. Let's move them on to, I think it's there. Let's see, reform. Let's get over to here. Oh, is that actually on it? Yes. All right, so we've got that, and then I don't know what that is yet. I think that was one of the steel things that we ended up getting. Let's see. Berries, milk, herbal. I didn't actually end up harvesting any herbal stuff. Let's take some more muffler stuff. The steel that I harvested. I've still got so much room for this. It's fine. Send that off. What is this one? Compacted steel. I really need so much more actual steel is what I need. How do you manage so many colonists? At the most I had was 20. I'm like, on some level, I'm actually not quite sure. I get asked that a lot, and there's a lot of particular things that I do over the long run of the game that I don't even notice that I'm doing. So it's hard for me to narrow down what I'm specifically doing to make them survive. But generally, I guess the first things first is like when they arrive, because I do crash landed most of the time, right? So I normally, on a normal game, let's be specific here, on a normal game, I would start with maybe 5 colonists, 3 to 5 colonists, and build up from there. In this case, I did a special start with a whole bunch of colonists from previous games. So I started with 21, and I was expecting everybody to kill each other straight off the bat, right? So that was a really big colony to begin with. A lot of it is like small things like this. For instance, I just got a new colonist come in from prisoner, or at least I think it's a new colonist. It could be one of my people that I recaptured. I think it might be Falcon. Yep. And so I check he's a daytimer, so he's got a daytime schedule. So we've got sleep, daytime, recreation, and nighttime, making sure that they've got enough downtime. When you have enough people, you don't need to worry about if there's a lot of time spent working, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of hands. You don't have to worry about the amount of time they've spent working. You can literally even it out to extra sleep, good amount of daytime, extra. Do I change the difficulty? Not while I'm playing. Once I've set it, it's the same. So I'm still playing off Phoebe Chillax. I can't remember which one I grabbed. I have got that on one of my videos. Does show the introduction to Asora, the colony. Does show how I set up my characters, the items I took with me, where I chose, why I chose it, what settings I chose, everything like that. I think it was base builder, give or take. As for power, remember something for a long time, there was outages in the UK around 12 p.m. Because everyone in Britain would turn on electric kettle for tea at the same time. Moose having a tantrum. I fucking had something similar with that with the internet when I was growing up. At 3 p.m. in the afternoon, the internet was shit because all the students would come home and get on the internet. And it was next to impossible to actually use fucking good old dial-up. And of course, mum would make a afternoon phone call for 3 hours. So, there was that to drop out the internet. So also managing like small things like this, like making sure whether or not I want people to be fighters, fleers, whether or not they're pacifists or whatever. I don't specifically manage what they wear unless they are like a pacifist, in which case I sometimes force them to wear a belt. So like a few people got something forced. They're allowed to eat whatever. I don't manage that. I do want them not to have a drug colony on the most part. I have no problem if people specifically use drugs themselves in real life. Got no problem with that. In my colony, though, it does decrease problems and health problems and so on and so forth, tantrums, whatever. If there's no drugs and there's no drug policy, that does help. They ignore it a lot of the time, though, so it's really neither here nor there. I could tell them to carry shit, but I don't. Everybody's got good medicine, unless they piss me off, in which case their medical care is revoked and they are like in line to die. Every single colonist is allocated a skill. At first, it is more a priority of if they have high-level skills to 1, as to their secondary skill usually being 8 and above. If they don't have many skills, I do try to allocate a higher skill and a secondary based on whatever the secondary highest skill is. It goes off over time. Like, for instance, Nikki and Star is out of base, but they are the laziest pieces of shit on my entire colony, and therefore they are allocated to work regardless of if they like the job or not. They will get themselves some goddamn skills and get some work done. Let's see, you got doctoring. You can do doctoring. I generally try not to allocate anybody less than like a 4 or 5 or something like that to do doctoring. I think a 4 is usually a 3. And same with like 2, it's usually like higher than that. Depends on the person though and what skills they've got as to where their priorities go. Let's see, we've got handling. Handling's 4, that can stay. Hunting, constructing, got growing. You're a primary grower now. Most of my people don't do hauling, they do cleaning. The reason why I've got this is because my animals are trained to haul. I have a specifically great deal of animals. If I was to pull up every goddamn animal I've got on this thing, if I was to pause for a second, at least in this section, let's put them together a little bit. I'm not going to find all of them. There's at least 200 various animals in this section of my map alone. That's not including the ones that are up here throughout and off-world map. Well, not off-world, but off-map at the moment. Give me a save. I also save frequently. Saving frequently is pretty important to making sure that your colonists don't die through a random encounter, or you have the ability to roll back and change the outcome. I like more roleplay aspect. I can't handle these many people, but the SimCity approach seems fun. Well, I've had a couple of people mention SimCity, and I'm gonna have to fucking figure out what that is, because I've got no idea what the reference. Star's caravan has arrived at lump of compacted steel. Fabulous, let's go. Take that other, a city building game. Okay. Yeah, I am at the moment with this map. I'm trying to get. I already have over 160 odd colonists. I think it's like 166 colonists, and so I've got the amount that I want to move, and I'm working on the amount of food, which I'm up at is almost 15,000 food in that. We're up to 7,000. They've made 2,000 today in packaged survival meals. We've still got like 23,000 potatoes, 35,000 corn hasn't really gone down. Berries are still at 20,000. I have deep stack mod, which does help with this. Even though it doesn't look like much, I can hold a lot. I can hold a lot of food. And Cat's having some milk. That's adorable. Look at it. It's consuming milk. That's right. That happened. Right here. You fucking saw it. There's also a dead kitten right there. Let's just move away from that. Is it? Old city building game. Quite popular. Quite good. The only worthy successor to it was City Skylines. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of like the city builder games, like I never really played. Which is funny, because a lot of these games, like, there is some stuff that I play kind of repetitively. Some sort of aspects of games, like I've got no problem with, like, shooters and certain, like, colony builders things. Like, even Sims and stuff like that I have played. But I play it very consistently in a certain way. And usually the way that I play games is allegedly incorrect. And I don't know, I'm very comfortable with that. I don't mind. Like, I built this base big from day one. Like, anybody that's been here watching throughout it, I built large buildings, very large, very spaced out buildings from the very beginning, which is not helpful with a small amount of people. But once you get over that like 50 odd up to about 100 odd, this starts to make sense. So I once had a dog in RimWorld, drank some alcohol from a freezer and got alcoholic trait. Yeah, most of my cats, when I had alcohol on here, basically had cirrhosis or something, and were like basically like full on fucking like tanked at all times, overdosing on shit. Like there is an incorrect way to play a sandbox game. I generally find that like that was also my neck cracking, by the way. I also find that like I guess playing with a lot of characters is how I incorrectly play RimWorld, because not many people do this. And the biggest achievement that I'm working on as my next goal is to literally divide my colony and manage 2 bases at the same time. That's what we're working on, because I will move soon. As soon as I've got sufficient food that I believe I can sustain my group, we'll be moving up to here. I believe up to that square. Yeah, that square. We'll be moving up to here from my colony. So all the way from down here. It's not that far. My group's moving over there right now to go and do some trade and stuff, so it won't be that far. But if I've got to constantly ferry stuff and send people constantly back and forth, it's going to be a distance. I'll probably have to send out construction people and farmers as a priority so that we have enough food to send caravans back. But my off-world flag is all the way up here, and that's where I'm headed. That's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to go to the off-world landed ship and see what that's all about, because I've never done it. It's always been in a fucking frozen tundra or some shit that I can't access. So it'd be pretty good to finally see that. I also have tried to build a ship on my own base before, not on Asora, but in the past on Hatora. And we have had multiple waves of attacks, and that has not ended well. So I'm also prepared to try that outcome as a last resort rollback if most of my colony die trying to get the landed ship. I will tank out that last location and absolutely just see who I can take out of there. Yeah. I once forgot Randy made like 5 guinea pigs join my colony before I knew it. They drank all my vodka and every single one of them got cirrhosis and passed out for 5 days at alcohol storage. Jesus Christ. That's something. Well, you guys know I started with guinea pigs and I kept them specifically for the pelts. But now I don't really need that, as I have like, where are we in here? I have all my fucking various animals. I've got decent amount of thrumbos, which I don't really cull, but if one dies, I get a pelt. It's fine. I think these things can also be brushed or something, because like I do get thrumbo fur when they aren't already dead. Oh, your rain's already passed over. Did it cool it down at all, Shadow? At all? Because I'd like to know. It probably hasn't. It was probably like the other day for me when I got like a spit of rain for like 5 fucking minutes, a little like crack of thunder, and it fucked right off. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not getting a nice little storm. Now it's probably going to be like muggy for you too. It sucks. I was really hoping that would cool down for you. Let's see. I've been mostly like milling around getting like my harvesting done. Cougar Revenge. That'll be fine. We don't have to worry about that. Yeah, go for fucking shotgun for the win. I also find that like even though these things generally bring about an attack, I haven't really had that here. When I move, I'm expecting that to constantly be bringing up problems, because what I found was last time I moved my colony, not this one, but one of my old ones, I found that when I moved, I guess like the training wheels of the first map location kind of came off, and it just went to shit real fast. So that is what I'm expecting when I move, is all of this to just go to shit, and potentially even lose the colony. That is genuinely what I'm expecting as the result. But who knows? It could be fucking different. I don't know. It's really getting to me. I'm not one to moan about the weather. Yeah, but like if it's really persistently fucking uncomfortable and you can't get a reprieve from it, and even if later when you've got to like sleep and stuff like that, you can't get away from it, it's not comfortable. That's why, like, as I said, like one of the few luxuries that I have is my air conditioner, and I need that mostly for my own personal health during summer, but also like it is just like comfortable to be able to like monitor like a level of... That's right, I was making chairs. Level of fucking comfort. I forgot I was making these. Man, I sold all my plasteel too. How long ago was I making these? I forgot. I remember seeing that. I've glossed past here like several times tonight and I haven't noticed this once. Like, they've done a good job up here. I'm getting rid of anything that isn't excellent. Excellent or above. How hot does it get down there in Australia? So, the worst kind of conditions we can get is over 50 degrees Celsius, which is like, I think, roughly like 120 odd Fahrenheit or something, give or take. Give or take. I don't know my Fahrenheit conversions. But yeah, that's like a solid bad summer. 32 degrees Celsius is a nice, comfortable, warm day in summer for us. Anywhere in the 40s is getting uncomfortable. Like 45 is annoying. 40 is okay. Like high 30s is a good beach day. Gat, man, you're always sick, yeah? Wolf Revenge, that's fine. Yeah, so it's kind of like that. Serious, like 38 degrees is a good time to go down to a beach and just like chill out in the sun and in the water. Mind you, I'm fucking Snow White as, so I've got to like really lay on the like ultra thick, heavy duty fucking sunscreen. So I burn super fast. One of my medicines increases the rate in which I get sunburnt and the intensity of the sunburn. So I have to be really extra careful. But Nick's really like extra good about like monitoring like my sunscreen levels and times in which that I'm actually out in the sun during summer days. So that I don't get a severe burn as badly because I am predisposed to melanoma as well. I haven't even fucking mentioned that one yet. I think I mentioned I went to a melanoma center a few months ago to actually get like looked over and I got the clear bill of health, thank fucking God. But yeah, basically everybody in my family has had 2 to 3 melanoma caught and removed. My grandma being the one with the most and being the eldest with 3. But yeah, like my closest cousin has like got 2 and she's only just turned 40. So it's very prevalent in my gene pool. Yeah. You live in a desert. It's between 40 to 35 here. Oh, 40 to minus 35, sorry. That is definitely a swing. By the way, I've never seen snow. So when people say like they get into like the really high negative numbers, it's always very interesting to me. So I'm like, I'm assuming that means like snow. 40 to 35. All right. That's Celsius, right, though? Like, to me, that's not too bad, as long as it's not muggy. Yeah, Shadow. I don't think I've mentioned that before, that I've got fucking melanoma gene pool. Doug has created a large marble sculpture masterwork. Nice. It's hilarious, but potential for breast cancer case despite being a man. Look, breast cancer affects everybody. You never be ashamed that you're a fucking candidate for breast cancer. You should be getting that monitored. As somebody in my gene pool with all the melanomas, I am also one to be on the list for fucking breast cancer, and that's a damn concern because they're huge. Like, chest is huge, so that's a lot of fucking area to keep an eye out for one. Corpsey has arrived at Crate. Okay. Alright, hold up. Let's get some fucking trade on. Yeah, that is a constant fucking persistent concern that I have. And the worst part is that, like, doctors will not put me even in to get scans and shit, even though I have concerns and shit. They won't put me in to get scanned until either I hit, I think it's my late 40s, 50s, somewhere in my 50s or some shit. I think it's like 60s is the average for Australians. And or unless the doctor refers me because of due to some concern. I think they're the 2 reasons that I would get looked at my age, which is really fucking frustrating because I do not know why, but I have an overwhelming sense of being that is something that I will get. Like, you know how some people just like feel like they're 100% got that, will have that, kind of thing, and then it turns out they've got that. That's what I honestly feel like I'm probably gonna fucking go through. And I've had that feeling since I was like a late teen for some reason. And I've been like, basically, I guess, like on some level mentally prepared to deal with that, but it's not like something you can be mentally prepared for, not really. But yeah, I constantly try to fucking get seen and booked in and shit like that, and I keep getting declined, mostly because of my age, which is stupid, because I also have a bunch of fucking medical conditions that are young for, like, outside of my age group to have. Like, for fuck's sake, I've got, what was it? I got osteoarthritis and I'm 35. Yeah. I shouldn't have that already. But I do. And Crohn's is also something I shouldn't have at my age, apparently. Even though there's been since research that people can have it younger. But yeah. Yeah, I get ageist. I also get some really great fucking sexist doctors too. I got one really great doctor and I had to move away from him. I really don't care that I have to be seen by a male doctor. I have zero concern of that. But I had to move away from him when they started to charge. But then the doctor we moved to, who was extra shit, who was only available for 2 hours in the afternoon on a Tuesday, once a week, like, they ended up, oh shit, that's actually too much. They ended up also starting to charge. So I've literally gone back and consulted to see my old doctor, and hopefully I do have to make an appointment sometime in this actual week to go back and see him to get a whole bunch of my, like, repeats and stuff, the scripts for my regular medicines and stuff. So I'll hopefully at least touch base with him in this, either this week or next week. I think one of my medicines is due. So yeah, hopefully everything goes well and I can still see the awesome doctor that I did find. Unfortunately though, like any doctor, he's basically like at his wit's end with like the whole medical system and billing and shit. So he's, last time I saw him about a year ago, he was as frazzled as a doctor can possibly be. And like I saw him regularly. Like I knew when he had a haircut. I knew when like he got a new shirt. Like it was really obvious. That's how frequently I saw my doctor. And when they started having to charge, it was like basically like, oh, I can't come here because like literally unemployed, can't afford it kind of shit. And with like multiple medical conditions, like I'm at risk of like anything going severely wrong and not being able to afford to seek medical fucking help. It fucking sucks. But yeah, I'm gonna push to try to get back to see him again. Manatee's rejoined. Nice. Man, you guys are all out here doing your yard work. It's fantastic. Let's get Manatee back in. Yeah. It's so hard to get a good doctor. Especially one that will actually listen. Where is Manatee? I think I already went past her. I'm looking for one that might stand out. Maybe not here, but in here should. Maybe not. Go for a scroll up. She was already a colonist. I just had to capture her when she decided she wanted to leave. So just got to kind of like keep an eye out to see if there's anybody that stands out. There isn't, which is good. I don't have to do anything with her. It's fantastic. Look at them. They're pretty much already done. This is what I'm talking about with when you have so many colonists. I probably have like 30 people out here in the field and probably 20 to 30 people out here doing harvesting right now. And also working on like handling animals and stuff like that. And the animals are out here hauling, by the way. So my people don't have to waste the extra time picking up an extra couple of bits of rice to take out, which means I have extra people that can be doing cooking or, you know, tending or whatever's going on. Like they're working their way down here, probably going to start on whatever's down here. It's good. These are all good specialists I go to. I only got recommended from another specialist anytime I look for another popular and or on my own. I get Medicore service at the most. Yeah, I found, so with my Crohn's disease, right, I found, I got referred to, for some reason, I got referred to a private specialist, which is fucking expensive. I'm talking like $600 an hour to see one of those. And he was a good sod. And as soon as he checked that I was unemployed and definitely wouldn't have funding to be able to see him, he basically voided the appointment fee and referred me on to a public specialist, which was great. He was so good. He was the top of his specialty, though. He was the top of the Crohn's for Australia in my area, so that was good. He was like that, like he's fucking understanding. He also referred me to the sleep specialist who ended up formally diagnosing me within that year as well. It was really good. I got at least that benefit out of it. I did pay out of pocket to see the sleep specialist because there's no real like public ones of that. But at least I was like taken seriously and everything was like checked over and all that was like sorted out. But the public sector of the Crohn's that I was put into, the first guy was great. He was actually the doctor that encouraged me to become a streamer. The second doctor I went back and saw because it was obviously a public location. You didn't get your choice of your doctors. It was just whoever was there for your next appointment. The next doctor was a piece of shit that basically put me on a bunch of medicine that made me really sick and unwell. And I had to seek out somebody higher up in the hospital to get removed from that medicine and be put with a different doctor because he refused to listen to me and basically believed that as a doctor, his opinion overrode what was happening to me as a result of the medicines that he would put me on, which is stupid. I fully understand that, like, you know, as there are professionals, they've done their homework, they've literally like gone through all the steps. But at the same time, if they're unwilling to listen to something that's actually physically happening, that's negative to a person, that's actually dangerous to the person, because I was starting to sleep for 20 hours a day and I wasn't awake and I wasn't eating. And I wasn't eating or drinking or doing anything. That was like back in like April, May this year. It was real bad. And yeah, he I didn't see him. I saw somebody else after him and they were still okay. And sometime, I think later this year, I have to go back to that hospital to see him again. Just make sure everything's still consistently doing well, which it, for the most part, is. Like, there's been ups and downs and stuff, but that's mostly been stress management on my part. So I've done mostly my part, but it still fluctuates. It's Crohn's. Not much I can do about it. You don't have that kind of money. Or do you have... You got psychic emanators. Do you have... No, you don't have any shock lancers, but that definitely took it off. That's almost what I need. Except I need steel too, so... Oh, you got Glitter World too. But what's the treatment, Doc? Well, you got to become a Twitch streamer. Amazing. Well, I'm glad you listened to the advice. I was already... That's a pretty funny way of fucking saying it, though. I was already somewhat, I guess, interested in streaming. I just didn't think that anybody would be interested in watching me. I didn't think that I guess, was going to be somebody that people would want to, like, click on and listen and, like, stuff like that. So, yeah. I guess, like, the main thing was, like, the small amount of encouragement that he gave from that conversation that we had was enough to push me to try. That was all it took. Was somebody genuinely feeling like, yeah, people would watch you, people would listen to you, stream and play games and stuff, and would maybe enjoy, like, just being there and hanging out in your company kind of thing. I think that was the main thing for me, that got me to try, because, like, especially since, like, as I've said, like, I came off a job that absolutely destroyed me, and, like, my whole sense of, like, self. So as I call him and tell him he's right. Look, I had hoped that he would be still there, to be able to see, at least to, like, let him know how everything had progressed. But I understand how that hospital works, and there was no likelihood that I was going to get the same doctor twice. And I understood that. So all I know is that, like, I'm happy that I had that conversation and was encouraged, especially since everything that I've been through, to get encouragement to try after everything. I think that was the biggest thing. That's also why, like, I'm so fucking encouraging for everybody else and stuff like that. When, like, people genuinely express, like, passion or interest in things, I am fully fucking behind yous for it. Going to probably go up to this one. I think we can maybe cut across. Yeah. Glad it worked out. 20 hours sleep is harsh. 20 hours sleep is almost next to impossible to function, especially if you have, like, a house, pets, relationship, fucking, like, just to live. Like, unable to eat, unable to drink, unable to, like, use the bathroom, basic hygiene of fucking showering, and just inability to wake up. And when I was awake, I was basically comatose. It was like I was, like, put on tranquilizers. It was horrible. It was really something. Like, if I hadn't gone through it, again, it's one of those things, if I hadn't gone through it, I probably wouldn't think it would have been as bad as it was, but I lived through it. That was the main thing. I experienced it myself, and it was horrible.